Hello YouTube, it's Justin with Nerd Games TV here, and I'm going to talk about some third-party video game accessories that Curtis and I own. We're going to start off with controllers. This is a Predator wireless controller for the PlayStation 2. Now, this took 3 AA batteries. It had a little, that looks like 2. No, oh, sorry, I'm sorry, 2 AA batteries. Thank you, Curtis. Now, this had a little connector that you put in the controller port on the PlayStation 2, as all wireless controllers from that era did. This controller, it doesn't look as good as the PlayStation 2 controllers, but it's about as heavy as a modern DualShock controller for the PlayStation 3, which I like. The controls are in pretty much the same place, except for the start and select button. The start button is right here, and the select button is right here. And on the back here, the L2 and R2 buttons are kind of farther back than the L1 and R1 buttons. We do not have the little controller port thing to hook it up to PlayStation 2 anymore. We've moved twice since we got this one, so things like that tend to get lost. Out of the box, this thing worked great. And then a few weeks after we got it, it started to die. So I'd give this thing a 3 out of 10 just because it worked out of the box. It worked for a little while. But overall, it wasn't that great. Put that off to the side right there. Next, we are going to talk about, I believe this is a Intech TurboShock PlayStation 3 wireless controller. Once again, it's not as good looking as the DualShock controller. I'd say a little bit lighter than the vibrating ones. It had a little, what looked like a USB stick that you'd plug into the USB port on your PS3, and that's what it would connect to. I lost that a while back, but if I find it, I'll kind of show you how it works a little bit. All the buttons are pretty much in the same space. I believe this is for turning it on. I'm not 100% sure. Once again,
wait, hold on. There's an on-off switch right there, Justin.
I have no idea what that does. Anyway, once again, it's a little bit more comfortable to hold. It's got a little bit more surface area to kind of put your hands on. Another thing I like about this controller is where the L2 and R2 buttons are located. It feels a little bit more natural. It's a lot better. It feels a little bit more comfortable if you're playing a lot of first-person shooter games. When I was using this controller a lot, I was playing a lot of Call of Duty and Battlefield. Not so much anymore. I kind of got disenchanted with the whole first-person shooter thing. We'll put that off to the side. Next up, we have a GameStop GameCube controller. It's a little bit lighter than the Nintendo ones. I had a Nintendo one, but somebody we know borrowed that one, and he lost it. So as compensation, he gave us this one. There's not a whole lot I can say about this. It's a little bit lighter. It's got this turbo button up here. I'm not 100% sure about that. My family didn't own a GameCube. I've just gotten this controller within the last year or so.
It doesn't even do anything.
I'm not really 100% sure what that does, so I'll just put that. I'm going to put this off to the side. And that concludes controllers. Next up, I'm going to move on to this link cable here. Don't know what company makes this one, but it's got 2 Game Boy connectors. This only works for the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy Advance SP. I believe this one is player 1. Yeah, I don't know if you can. Can you see that there? I don't know.
Can't see it through the.
But this is player 1. It's a little bit hard to see, even not on the camera. And then it also had this GameCube connector. The time that we got this, we did not own a GameCube or a Wii or anything, so we were just using this for our Game Boys. It sat in my desk drawer for a few years, and a few weeks ago, me and Curtis decided to have an old school Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green battle. The problem is, over time, these kind of don't sit in the connector ports as well as they did when it was new. This cable was pretty good when it was new, but with a lot of things, Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to do ratings for these ones. I probably give this one an 8. It's not a 10 because it's kind of ugly and it had that little USB stick instead of just syncing to the PlayStation itself. And this is a 9. It works well. It would be a 10 if it didn't have this useless turbo button up here. So I got the ratings up for those out of the way. Next up, we're going to move on to memory cards. When we got our first PlayStation 2, my parents decided that we were going to do, everybody was going to have their own memory card. We did not buy an official Sony memory card at the time, but we did get a couple of these 2-packs of memory cards. These are 8 megabyte, let's see, this is Magic Gate PS2 memory cards. You would get them, these came in a 2-pack.
It has Sony written on it.
Oh.
I think that's official.
I'm not sure, but it's got this Magic Gate thing, which confused me a little bit. But even if they're not a third-party product, these were actually pretty good. Had a little over 20 games saved on them at the time. When we got a new PS2 a few weeks ago, I cleared all the memory off of my memory card. That's all I have to say about those memory cards. I'd probably give these a 10 out of 10. They're pretty good. Like Chris said, they have Sony written down there, but it confuses me a little bit. Because if they were Sony, I don't know why they'd have Magic Gate on them. But
Team effort.
We'll move on. Okay, now we're going to talk about game modifiers. First up, Sega Genesis Video Game Enhancer Game Genie by Galoob. Weird name. Don't have a whole lot to say about this since me and Curtis are a little too young to have any memories playing the Sega Genesis. Like, the first system me and Curtis can remember playing is probably the PlayStation 1.
I have brief memories of Sega, but not much.
We're planning on getting a new... We have the Sega in our basement. We think it still works. We just need an audio-video output cable before we can completely hook it up. In the process of trying to find one of those. When I do find one, I'll get it, and we'll hook it up, and we'll talk about this a little bit more then, see what it does. We'll also do a few reviews on Sega Genesis games. This, I believe it's just called a action replay game modifier. I have no idea. But this one, it has a Game Boy Advance one, a Game Boy Advance port, and a Nintendo DS. So I don't know why they put the DS one in here. It never works. You were never able to input. I was never able to find a way to input codes for the Nintendo DS. And even if I had a game in there, it would do nothing. Next up, and it also had a
Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, I had a Game Boy Advance port. Like all Game Shark related stuff. It does cause problems. I had 2 codes loaded on my copy of Pokemon Fire Red. I had Infinite Pokeballs and Master Balls, which I had the Infinite Master Ball code, which gave me infinite of every type of Pokeball in the game, as well as the completed Pokedex. What putting those 2 codes on did to my game was that little computer thing at one of the Sevi.
1 minute left.
It doesn't matter. What happened is at the Sevi Islands, the computer thing would stop. Wouldn't have the ruby. Wouldn't have the sapphire. I could still trade a Pokemon Ruby, but I could not trade a sapphire or Emerald. And it also prevented me from competing in the Elite Four. If you have like an old game that you're just going to use the Game Shark Pokemon on, go ahead, use this. If you're currently playing a game, do not use this on it. It'll screw it up.
It's a piece of shit.
True, Curtis. Next up, last thing.
30 seconds.
It doesn't matter, Curtis. I think it'll let me record over that now. We're going to be talking about cases. Oh, these Game Sharks, I'm not going to give them a rating.
I don't think
They're not worthy of being rated. I might do something for this, but...
they don't make out of these anymore, so...
Okay, we have 2 third-party cases. Here is my Game Boy Advance one. Now, few years ago, for Christmas, me, Curtis, and our sister, our relatives, they got us Game Boy Advance SPs. They also got us cases and a couple games. This is my case. Curtis has a red one. This is mine. This is produced by GameStop. Now, when you first open it up, got this pouch that's for holding your games. I just put Pokemon Blue and Pokemon Gold in there. And then it also has this little zipper here. Open that up. You got a spot to put your Game Boy SP. And now, on the back, this little clip here isn't the original one that was on here. The original one was black. But here on the back, we have another spot to put games. This section was probably more for putting headphones and such in, but it works just fine for games. Now I'm going to put that off to the side. That's done. Now, I really want to talk about this. This is the coolest case I have. I have another case for my Nintendo DS that's an official Nintendo one. But this is one that my parents got for me. I got my DS Lite. Open it up. Now, it looks pretty cool. Up in here was the game that came with it. I believe it was Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire or something. Yeah. But then here you have a spot to put your DS Lite. Now, I believe that if you don't have the DS Lite in here, you can use this upper ring thing to put your original Nintendo DS on. It came also with this clear game case here. I have first two Pokemon Ranger games in here. This also came with a pair of white headphones, which I don't have anymore. I loaned them to Curtis a while back and he broke them, and he's been forgiven. Now, this is probably the coolest part of this entire case. Comes with this charger here, which has an end that you can connect it into a USB port. But that's not the cool part. It also has two charging ends. This is for the Game Boy Advance. And I believe it also works for the original Nintendo DS. And here is a charger for the DS Lite. You could charge the Game Boy Advance and the DS Lite at the same time. And here is a car charger adapter for this cable. You just plug it in. Somehow. There. You would plug it in, and when it's connected, this little green light would come on, and you'd just be able to charge it from the car. That concludes this video. I'll apologize again for the lack of YouTube videos that Curtis and I have been uploading. We have a few in the works that we are going to get out within the next few weeks. Apologize right now. What do you have out, Curtis? You have something for like how you base your goblins or something, right?
No, it's movement trays. I didn't make any.
Oh yeah, we made a video for quick movement trays that you can make in like
just need to put that together
in like 5 minutes. We need to edit it. Also have something for my skeleton for how to paint Warhammer Vampire Counts skeleton warriors. Get that out as soon as I can. Do a little bit of editing for that. And we also have a how to base Warhammer miniatures video that we need to put out. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm pretty sure Curtis does as well. If you do not like this video, you don't have to stay here. But if you did, and we hope you did, please like and subscribe to the channel. If there's anything you think we could have done better for this video, please leave it in the comments. As far as commenting goes, just kind of be mature about it. You don't have to like it. You don't have to post a nice one, but just be mature.
This isn't 4chan.
Yeah. Well, we'll catch you later, YouTube. Stay nerdy.